All right, we're back. We're back. It is round 2 here. We're doing Around the NBA. Coach Pixley and I are going to talk our way through the Eastern Conference today, starting with the bottom of the Eastern Conference, which everybody should be familiar with. The guys at the bottom are making almost as much noise as the folks at the top, but we'll start from the bottom to the top. Again, we got about a 1 day delay on my stats here. So it's possible that 13 could be 12 or 8 could be 9 or whatever. So bear with us on that. I put it together maybe 48 hours ago. So there's a little bit of jostling going on. You ever use the word jostling every day, like in an everyday conversation?
No, I don't think I'd be allowed on the stream if I did.
Right. Have you ever used the word jostling other than following up the term jostling for position?
Yeah, no, that's it. That would be it.
Only way. I think it's the only way. They were jostling for position.
Why else?
Sort of like the word brandish. We know the word brandish, but there's only – go ahead and finish the sentence. The only time you brandish something is what?
I don't even – I'm stuck.
You're such a dumb coach.
Brandish.
You are so lucky I have you on this channel. Brandish a weapon. Brandish a weapon. He brandished a firearm. That's the only time I've ever heard the word brandish used in my entire life.
That is very true. And I will say this, that why else would you jostle but for position? And why else would you brandish? Or what else would you brandish?
I'm trying to think of some things I could brandish. Let me think. Well,
I mean,
he brandished his manhood and the crowd fled. You can use the word brandish in a lot of ways. I'm just saying society has pigeonholed that term into weapons.
Could you brandish that? I don't know. Could you? Fill in the blank. I'm gonna brandish that.
Yeah, I'm gonna brandish you. All right. Come on, put your hand on me again. Come out and guard me around 3-point line. I'm about to brandish a bucket on you.
Come out here. Yeah.
Come on out here.
That doesn't work.
We'll see what gets brandished out here. No, it doesn't work that way. All right, we got 4 folks in here, so hopefully we can get some comments. That was kind of fun. We don't do live streams very often. I am terrible. I mentioned something last night, and I'm still coughing. I cannot freaking get rid of this cough, and I had the flu, and this is what's left over. But it's been like 10 days of not being able to breathe.
Dude, it's killing everybody. My wife is on like day 12 right now. It's
I mean, I feel fantastic. I'm built like Achilles in his prime.
Pretty much.
I feel like I have the energy of, a young Donald Trump. But I can't freaking breathe and I keep coughing. It sounds like I have emphysema. So I don't know what's going on. What's up, David? David is in. Ben Orr 14. I haven't seen you comment before, Ben Orr. Get on it, man. Get on it. And then, of course, Glenn Miller's back. He's ready for day 2. He was one of the 3 people that listened to day 1, Jonathan.
Let's go. No, we had 5. But by the way, I have the updated standings sitting in front of me if we need them. So.
Okay, if we have to go there. We're just going to go in my order and tell me if I get it wrong. But let's get cranking. Let's go with team number 15. No surprise here. We're talking about the Detroit Pistons. I have 3-30. Is that right, or did they win the 4th?
3-1. They lost last night in overtime, 154-148 to Utah. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. Because there was some talk in there about Jordan Clarkson triple-double chasing or something. I vaguely, I try not to follow the ongoings of the 2 teams that are jostling for the worst position in the NBA between the Jazz and the Pistons. But I heard Jordan Clarkson was chasing like rebounds or something like that. Glenn, I'm gonna be nice to your Pistons. You're not gonna believe my take on your Pistons, Glenn. Sorry, Jonathan. Let me click the comment. Yeah. You're not gonna believe my take on the Pistons. But go ahead, Jonathan. Why don't you go first?
Clarkson was not chasing boards last night because he had 6. He had 3 dimes, which is 3 more than he normally has. So
maybe I'm thinking about the game before. Because they were talking about it on the Low Post podcast. It must have been the game before where he was like chasing rebounds or some crap like that. So something like that.
Thoughts on the Pistons is that the fact that they're talking about moving Cade Cunningham is ridiculous because, and not that they are talking about it, that it's even being mentioned that
right.
They should. It's stupid because that will be like their 3rd restart in the last 8 years. And I'm not saying. Look, there are already people that are saying, well, Cade Cunningham, he's probably best case scenario, he's an all-star. I think he's best case scenario, an all-NBA player. I think
agreed.
right?
Hey, look, I've already got it pulled up. And by the way, Alex, that's awesome. Alex says he's got a card getting graded right now, Jonathan. It's a case hit. It's a rare card. It's a Galactic Scholar Maze. Yeah, so pretty rare. So fingers crossed, man. We're hoping you get a PSA 10. If you do, I am 104% certain, Alex, that it's going to be a Pop 1. I've got it pulled up right here. Here's Cade's numbers, man. First of all, let's start with the fact he's 6'6", 220. So he's pushing Doncic. He's a little smaller than Doncic. Doncic probably 6'7", maybe 235. His ass is about 225. But Cade Cunningham's built a little bit different. But Cade Cunningham's that prototypical big, strong lead guard. 23, 4, and 7. He's not the most efficient cat, but for God's sakes, who would be if you had no shooters around you the whole season? Bogey's back. Bogey can shoot it, right? But he's been out the whole season. He's had nobody around him, and that's kind of what he does. Is he's kind of like that guy with all the gravity, and he should be getting to the elbow and then kicking out and then shooting over people in the mid range. But there's no one to kick out to, so everybody's in help side. Nobody has to respect anybody except for Bogdanovich on that team.
So think about this. Last night, Bogdanovich made 8 threes. He was 8 for 15. Okay, he had 36. Cunningham makes 3. Alec Burks makes 5. So, this is a huge night for them, right?
Huge.
Jaden Ivey goes 2 for 3. If Jaden Ivey could make 2 threes a game, dude, he's a really good starter in the NBA.
He can if he shoots 11.
That's the key. But yeah, you're right. My deal with Cade Cunningham is give me a break. Look what he is with. Come on. I mean, seriously, give me a break.
Well, dude, let's just say 23, 4, and 7 when you're 22 years old is pretty fucking good. Everybody needs to chill. It's not like he's shooting 35%. He's shooting 45% from the field. 34% from 3 isn't great, but it's up from last year, and it's up from his career. And 87% from the line is something that really gives me hope, Jonathan. I've always hung my hat on this. Yep. If you can shoot high 80s from the free throw line, you're a good shooter, and that just means the shots you're taking either are super hyper contested or you're taking stupid shots. Right? That's what that means. Because if you can shoot 87% from the line, I don't care who you are, in an NBA setting, in games, under fatigue, in games under pressure, not that he's under pressure, but 87% is tough. And he's got better than an average PER, and that's, in my opinion, saying a lot for somebody who's been asked to do so much. Now, here's the thing. I just want to say this. I can't compare Cade Cunningham to Wembanyama, because if you ask me who I want for my team for the next decade, I'm going to say Wembanyama. But Wizards, who's if you had to jump in and take a team and your job is to get them to the playoffs, don't you think I know the Pistons are 4-100, but don't you think the Pistons are closer than the Wizards?
Yeah, for sure.
Would you rather Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Oscar Thompson, and Jalen Duren over whatever the hell? You could pick whatever 4 you want from the Wizards.
Exactly. You pick them. It doesn't matter.
I don't even know who you would pick. You could pick them for me. I'm taking them. I'll be honest with you. You may not agree with this. And this is probably a pretty tough question. I might put this on a Cage of Cardboard YouTube poll. Cade Cunningham or LaMelo Ball?
Now,
you think it's a clear-cut LaMelo? Because I don't, dude.
No, I don't. I'm saying it's a good question, because I don't know. I mean, it's a toss-up right now, in my opinion. It's a toss-up because LaMelo is super talented. Cade's super talented. I would tend, honestly, to lean towards Cade Cunningham just because I think he has a winning gene to him, and I'm not sure LaMelo does.
Yeah. Well, he's got tons of international experience, with Team USA but he was 5 years old. He's like the American version of Doncic, but of course, so did RJ Barrett, and that didn't help. But I guess what I'm getting at is I am not nearly as down on the Pistons as you would suspect I would be for a team who just lost 28 or 29 or whatever games in a row. That's my point is there's probably 3 or 4 teams in the NBA. I'd rather the Pistons roster as currently constructed and kind of work from there than otherwise. Because people are acting like there's nothing in Detroit. I disagree, because I do think Cade Cunningham's potential all NBA. I do think Jalen Duren's sort of a poor man's Al Horford. He's big, strong ass. He works, he goes hard, whatever, etc. Yeah, Ball's always injured. Of course, Cade's been injured too a lot, Genity. So, that's an issue there. But it says we can't develop Ivy when we play Alec Burks 35 minutes a game and Isaiah Livers 35 minutes. I want to see Cunningham and Ivy together on the court. I do too, but we need Ivy to make shots, man. I think Ivy's probably a poor shooting point guard, which is not
a poor man's Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson. That's who I think he is. More athletic, but I think he's those guys. And I think that you're dealing with the worst possible coach for him.
He's just a bad fit. Jeremy, I agree 1,000%. He's just a bad fit. I would love to get him in a situation where you could hand him the ball on another terrible team other than Detroit. Anyway, enough on Detroit. I don't think they're the 30th worst talented roster in the NBA. I'll say they're in the 24 to 26 range. The Wizards. This would be the team that would be 30th on my list. I would have them 30th. That's just my personal opinion, because you're getting the ultimate stats on a bad team in a bad situation from Kuzma. Poole, I'm going to be the first one to raise my hand. I completely missed because I thought he was going to go put up empty stats at a crazy clip. I literally thought Poole was going to push 30 points per game this year. I think something is happening. There's something going on amongst Poole and Kuzma. I don't know this for a fact. I have no reason to believe this. I haven't read this. I get the feeling that Poole came in there, and Poole's an arrogant dude, as Draymond would attest to, and everybody in the Warriors who sent him packing. I think right when he showed up into town, I think Kuzma may have threatened his life or something like that and said, look, this is my team. Get it, sit down. This is my team. You're the beta. I'm the alpha. We'll go like I go. But both those guys are just empty stat stuffers. Anything at all get you excited about the Wizards? This Koulibaly guy, I hear people all the time talk about him as a two-way guy. I haven't seen enough from him. He's thin. He's young. He's got upside.
So I'm going to tell you what gets me excited about them. The first thing is that when we're done talking about them, that'll get me excited. The second thing is I want Tyus Jones out of there. I want him gone. I need him out of there simply because I think he's got a chance, and he's going to rot there. Our guy, I say our guy, another Louisiana kid, Jared Butler, could take advantage of a situation there if some guys get moved, right? So that would be a good thing. But, man, they just have so many guys who just don't make an impact and have been in the league for a few years already. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. It's not like they're rocking. I mean, they do have Koulibaly and a couple of young guys, but it's not like that they're the Pistons where they're rocking a bunch of dudes that are all 21 and 22. No, dude, that's not the case. Yep. And that's why I didn't understand the Tyus Jones thing. He's going to help you win games. And if you're trying not to win games, then you don't want Tyus Jones. But am I wrong? Don't they not have their pick? I thought for some reason and again, I told you I'm terrible at salary caps. I'm terrible at remembering who has picks, but I don't think they had their pick.
I don't know if they do or not.
I don't know if they do.
I just know they are the ultimate case of what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, there is no direction whatsoever. Tyus Jones would be a huge pickup. We talked about this yesterday on the Western Conference. Like his presence in Memphis was a big reason Memphis was what they were, and they're really missing him this year, along with your favorite player, Dylan Brooks. Tyus Jones gets out. Then our guy, Jared Butler, Louisiana, from Reserve, Louisiana, LaPlace, Louisiana, went to high school in Reserve, Louisiana, Riverside Academy. I was lucky enough. I got to sit down in his living room. I went down there with another one of our Nike EYBL coaches to try to recruit him. And of course he said no, but just add him to the list of NBA guys that I recruited that never came to play with us because they didn't trust us. But his parents were salty.
Who was the best of that list? Malik Monk? Was he the best of that list?
Oh, no. Like best player?
Best player, best NBA player, future NBA player that turned us down.
Robert Williams.
I guess.
And he didn't turn me down. I was not permitted access to Robert Williams. I was prevented
team at all.
He played in Texas, Nike EYBL. So I was not permitted to communicate with him through his handlers and his people. Melvin Frazier, first round pick. Jacob Evans, first round pick. Robert Williams, first round pick.
I'm talking about dudes who have done it in the league.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just naming the guys that we were right there. Skylar was our NBA guy that we had, and it was tough, man. That was a tough run. So, let's keep moving because the Wizards really suck. Who finishes the season with more wins, the Wizards or the Pistons? I bet the Pistons.
I don't know, man. I'm going to tell you this right now. I would hope that they would. Monty Williams is a terrible fit for that deal. It's a terrible fit because he's a good
coach?
I don't know, but I know he's an old school coach who is from the Pop deal who does not fit a rebuild. He doesn't fit it. So I don't know, man. I think
neither does Pop, by the way.
Yeah.
Obviously, because Pop, here, let me do the math real quick. Pop and Monty Williams their teams have a combined 8 wins.
Yeah.
That's freaking crazy to think about.
Who would you rather? You would definitely rather Detroit's roster than the Spurs roster, also, including
not if Wembanyama's on it.
Okay, so you take the Spurs roster just with Wembanyama over the Pistons roster. You think
Wembanyama's all NBA next year?
No, but listen to me. You think 5 years from now, if those rosters, which obviously will not be, but if they were both still intact, you think the Spurs would be better than the Pistons?
Yes. I think Wembanyama will be one of the 5 best players in the world in 5 years, yes.
So you think just because of him, they'll be better than the dudes you got?
Yes, I do. God damn, how many times do I have to say it? I think that Wembanyama is going to be 25, 15, 7, and average 3 blocks a game and shoot 60% from the field and make 200 threes and win 11 MVPs.
You do realize we're talking about a 3 versus a 2-win team 5 years from now. If the
we've got to move on. We are bad about this. Let's keep going here. Okay, we're done with the Wizards. Let's move on to the Hornets, which is also, it's like the Charlotte Wizards as far as I'm concerned. The only difference is they have 2 promising players. You know what? I'm going to say they have 3, Jonathan, because LaMelo Ball, for God's sakes, if the poor kid could get healthy, the whole Ball family is cursed because of their big mouth dad. But if LaMelo Ball could get healthy, we could finally get to see him play about 60, 70 games in a row. That would be nice because he's the kind of dude that's going to make everybody else on that team so much better. And right now they're running Rozier at the point and then trying to fill in the blanks at the point guard position. It's just a disaster. Got to have LaMelo. I like Mark Williams, sort of along the same lines as a Jalen Duren. Okay. I like those guys. Kind of let's wait and see what they are. Can they be as good as a Capella? Can they be as good as a DeAndre Jordan? That kind of deal. Mark Williams coming back off a back injury. I really like Mark Williams, so I want to see him. And then lastly, Brandon Miller has had a pretty freaking good. He's probably second team all rookie team.
Yeah, he's a talented dude. He is a very talented guy, actually. But when you allow convicts to come back to your team, I think that's a problem. And then when you're basing everything on a guy who cannot stay healthy, right? It's another one of, like you said, man, what are they doing? What are they doing, right? I mean, what direction are they going? Brandon Miller was a good pickup, but what's Brandon Miller's ceiling in your opinion?
I haven't seen nearly enough. But I will not watch that team play basketball unless LaMelo is playing, and he's never playing. I'll be the first one to admit I am not the best person to ask about Brandon Miller. I have not seen enough, dude. I have not seen enough. I know a lot of people like to throw out the Paul George comparisons. I just haven't seen enough, Jonathan. And he's like 18, 19 years old. He's just not old enough for me to make a comparison because you're not even remotely seeing the finished product. Like guys like Cade Cunningham came into the league at 220, 6'6", 220. Right. And I don't know what Brandon Miller weighs, but he seems thinner and weaker, and we're not seeing anything remotely close to the finished product. It's kind of the reason I'm so high on Wembanyama. I think Wembanyama, he probably weighs 240, but I think Wembanyama is probably a 265, 270 by the time he finishes. I know that sounds crazy, but like he's got good shoulders, and he is 7'5".
Well, and Brandon Miller, they list him at 6'7", 200, which is
okay. So he's going to be a 230-pound person. Kevin Durant, it would be a great comparison. Now he was even thinner and probably weaker than Brandon Miller coming in, and now Kevin Durant's 240 pounds. A lot of people don't realize that.
I think the Paul George comparison, just physically, is there.
He's a good one. Yeah,
I just don't remember Paul George.
Ooh, Jeremy.
Right at the beginning, right when he came in the league.
Jeremy, I'm not with you on this one. Jonathan, you getting with Jeremy on this one? Brandon Miller's Benedict Mathurin?
No, he's not.
Benedict Mathurin's had a lot more runway and done a lot less. Yeah. I think Benedict Mathurin is going to be a career 6-man coming off the bench bucket getter. That's what I think Benedict Mathurin is. I think Brandon Miller can be a little bit more.
For a mediocre team.
Yeah.
Benedict, yeah, he's not.
We got to see more. We just got to see more. So 3 reasons to get excited in Charlotte. Really, those are the only 3. They got to figure out a way to move Hayward, Rozier, get those contracts off the book, and then just kind of cook from there and maybe have another good draft. I don't know.
Well, look, Alex says Brandon Miller, Paul George without the defensive skills. I can't remember an 18-year-old that came in the league that did guard anybody or knew how to guard anybody.
It doesn't happen very often. Or if they do, that's all they're doing.
That's right. That's right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like there are 18-year-olds that come in that are elite defenders, but that means all they're doing is defending. They're not playing both ways, right? No, but players do develop into that. Toronto Raptors, I had them in 12th. That could have changed and flip-flop because we got a little bit of a logjam here with a couple of teams.
They're still there.
Huge step forward for Scotty Barnes this season. Have you seen? And I know you and we've talked about him, and you have a bigger man crush than I do. But I acknowledge he's a freaking problem. He's shooting the ball a lot better. He must have gone into the gym and shot the shit out of it this summer, dude. His shot looks so much better. He would have 4 for 16 games last year, and then he'd take 6 shots the next game, 8 shots the next game. Not this year. He's the alpha. He took that leap and passed up Siakam, in my opinion, right? He's the alpha, no doubt. So much to the point that they're trying to deal Siakam. OG Anunoby is out of the picture. The robot, OG Anunoby, has been moved over to the Knicks. In comes RJ Barrett. In comes Quickly, who is going to be the de facto 100% certain starting point guard for that team. They are hoping that Emmanuel Quickly is Tyrese Maxey 2.0. Is he? Is he?
Too early. He had 26 last night, which is quick. Okay, quickly. But I'm looking at their starting lineup last night. Okay, so first of all, go back to Barnes real quick.
Okay,
when Barnes was a rookie, his MO was he's a gym rat. He's in the gym all the time. Then last year, it was he's not in the gym often enough. That's why he can't shoot. Which made no sense whatsoever how that flipped that quickly. Okay, you either are in the gym or you're not.
That's weird.
And obviously, he was in the gym this summer developing his shot. I think he is. Is he an all-star this year? Is the question. Okay, because it's an interesting question to pose just because of the position. But their starting lineup last night: R.J. Barrett, Pascal Siakam, Pirtle, Barnes, Quickly. Okay.
Yep.
Solid starting lineup. If Barnes ends up being a top 10 dude in the league, okay, yes. Siakam, they move. Who do they get for him? Where does he fit? I think there's something for him. He's going to be 30 years old, apparently, here pretty quickly. I don't necessarily think his game is based on athleticism, obviously. So.
They need to trade him for fucking Tim Legler. They need a shooter so bad that dude, did you realize the starting 5 that you just named? Barnes is the second best shooter. That's not what you want. Now, that being said, listen to Barnes' numbers. Barnes is 21, 9, and 6 right now. Yep. Running the point forward position to the extreme. Yep. He's 48, 38, and 78. Those are some good-ass splits with a 55% effective field goal percentage and a 21 PER. He is up in points, up in rebounds, up in assists, up in field goals, up in threes, up in free throws, and up in effective field goal percentage and up in PER. He's taken the leap that we thought he was going to take last year when he really kind of regressed. He didn't even stay stagnant. He kind of regressed last year. Sure. That's a huge leap forward. If they're going to get an all-star, he's got to be the guy. People are like, Derek White. I'm like, are you effing kidding me?
Why?
You cannot give Derek White an all-star spot and not Scotty Barnes. I get you want to reward the teams with the best records and all that stuff, but like, you got to be freaking kidding me, dude. And this year the Bucks only get 1, so you're not going to give the Celtics 3, are you?
Wait, the Bucks have to get 2.
Oh, Lillard. Yeah, what am I saying? So they'll get Lillard, Giannis. They're not going to get Middleton or Lopez this year.
No.
Are the Celtics going to get a 3rd and Derek White? I mean, are you going to get Porzingis a spot? Is Porzingis get a spot?
You have a chance to get Porzingis because who else is in the East?
Well, Embiid's in the East.
I know. I'm saying outside of him. I mean, out of the front court guys.
We're going to do an episode on this, so let's not get too sidetracked. But Daniel Gafford's in the East.
That's fair.
Yeah, what were we thinking? Let's read some comments. Simon comes in. How much can they really get for Siakam? I have my doubts about a forward who can't shoot. He can't shoot 3. Here's the deal, Simon. He can't shoot threes. He has to have the ball in his hands, and he does 137 spin moves every game and shoots floaters, and he shoots in the paint all the time, but he's never dunking anything. I don't understand the Siakam fit anywhere.
Yeah.
He's not a guy who you just kind of like plug in like a Jeremy Grant, you know what I'm saying? Like Jeremy Grant's kind of a plug and play guy. Siakam is not a plug and play guy, which is kind of why they're having a problem with Siakam and Barnes on the same team, is they both need the ball in their hands. IQ quickly is a maxi light in my opinion, but who knows what a change of scenery can do? We're about to find out. He's got all the runway he needs to see if he can prove he's the next maxi. And who do you like that trade for the most, Jonathan? Do you like the trade the most for the Knicks? Remember, the Raptors got a first-round pick as well.
Yeah,
I think. Again, I'm terrible with this, but
they did. Yeah, I definitely like it the most. I definitely like it the most for the Raptors, for sure.
Really,
I think Anunoby's a good player. I don't think he
doesn't put the Knicks into the top 8 to win the title,
right? And look, think about it. Siakam, and I know what we're saying, he can't shoot threes, and he has all these holes that we look at in his game. Here are his numbers: 22.4, 6.6, 4.9 assists on 52% from the field. Like
who?
Siakam. Like how many guys?
His numbers are good, dude.
Yeah. So there are guys that you have to think like it's a bad fit.
Here's who I'm going to compare him to. This is going to sound really weird because they're not quite the same, but like I'm comparing him to DeRozan, and nobody thought DeRozan would fit on a team because he can't/doesn't shoot threes, and now he's proven he can shoot the threes.
Yeah, I like that.
And he's going to change his game and tweak it a little bit. I don't know why Siakam can't tweak his game a little bit to shoot more threes and be a high-volume three-point shooter. I mean, maybe.
I just think he's got a chance. Look, he was a good third fiddle on a Raptors team that won a title, right? I think he could be a great
fourth fiddle.
Why? Why does he have to be fourth?
No, he was a fourth fiddle. I put Gasol ahead of him.
Okay, but offensively he wasn't, though. I mean,
no, that's right. That's fair. If Gasol was, that's fine.
But nonetheless, I think he'd be a good third fiddle on a contender. He could be. He'd be a distant third. He needs to be a distant third.
He'd be an expensive third.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Who would you rather have, Siakam or Bradley Beal or Middleton?
Middleton's out of the equation for me altogether. I don't think he's
ever going to check the box scores, bitch. You better stop with this Bucks hate. I
think he's ever going to be himself.
I will take you off this just the same way I brought you onto this show.
I don't think he's ever.
And the numbers and the viewership will go up, and you know it. So don't even.
That's obvious. Yeah.
Don't even tip me with this Bucks hate. We're not doing that here.
No, not Bucks hate. I love Middleton. I just don't think he's ever going to be himself. He can't move. Dude,
he is a terrible defender. And I remember people used to say two-way player. Dude, he's an awful defender. Hang on. I'm going to go to Middleton's game.
Looking at him right now. His last 5 games: 24, 27, 13, 21, 19. Those are solid. I mean, 27 against Brooklyn, that's great. I'm just saying, man, he's not the dude. He's not your closer anymore, like he was.
They don't need him to be the closer. He's a really good third player, and he's rebounding the ball well. Actually, he's not. He's assisting the ball well. That's what I was thinking. I was like, because I'm on a fantasy team, and I was like, he's doing more than just scoring. His assists. Listen to this, Jonathan: 7, 6, 11, 10, 6, 5, going backwards. Last 6 games, pretty good.
Yeah,
so I like that, and I like that his minutes are going up: 32, 31, 33, 31, 33, 32, 29, 28, 29. He's not missing games. He's not resting back-to-back. So I'm going to hold out hope.
His assists, though, are like when you and I played together and you threw the ball to me, okay? I mean, that's as simple as it is. It's not hard.
Is that what we're doing?
When you're throwing it to Giannis and Lillard, it's not hard to do. So
Is that what we're going to do?
Well, that's what we're doing.
First, you're going to disparage the Bucks, and then you're going to disparage my ability to distribute the ball.
Not disparage them, because I still think they have a chance. However, they're going to need to move Middleton in order to do it. For Siakam, preferably.
We're getting to the Bucks discussion. Don't you worry, Simon. I'm going to rip his ass to pieces.
All right.
Okay. We're done with the Raptors. What else? Does RJ Barrett help? No, there's no spacing there. That's my notes, basically. You've got 3 guys on the court that just really can't shoot at all, with Barrett, Siakam, and Pirtle. That's just weird.
Yep.
Atlanta Hawks. Is it time to hit the reset button? Are they going to run this thing out? I'm hearing DeJounte Murray trade rumors.
I mean, thank God. It's for him. Get him out.
You know? He's probably thrilled about that.
Yes.
He probably started the rumors.
Oh, it's awful. I mean, it's just
Jonathan Trey's an all-star. Yes, he's 28-11 on 44, 38, 86 with a 22.5 PER. He's got to be an all-star. Here's the deal. You got to pick one, him or Barnes. If you had to pick one of them.
Him. Trey.
You pick him. Yeah.
Dude, his numbers are ridiculous. I mean, you can't have those numbers. Fine, he's ball dominant. Fine, he's tough to play with sometimes offensively.
Fine, they're 13 and 20 or 14 and 20 or whatever.
Yeah, he's a terrible defender. Those numbers you just called out are freaking all-star numbers. I don't care who you are. They are. That's ridiculous.
Your ass, Jeremy Davis. I'm gonna block your ass out of here. Don't make me block. First, you misspell my name, and now you're gonna again. This Bucks hate is overwhelming on my own channel. The Bucks hate is just like it's what's the word? It's jostling me. I'm getting jostled. I'm about to brandish a weapon.
You're being brandished right now.
I'm about to brandish a weapon and get Jeremy Davis.
What is all right. Who is he talking about? Who's already played the Bucks 5 times?
I don't know. He must be talking about recent years. Jeremy, who's your team? I'm sorry, I should have followed that. I guess he's talking about Matherin, maybe the Pacers. Sorry, autocorrect. Oh, did you mean 1-4 against the Bucks? The Hawks. Okay, we're done with the Hawks. Hit the reset button or ride it out. What would you do if you were in charge of the Hawks right now? If I hear one more person tell me how good on Ngakwu or whatever his name, what's his name?
I don't care, but
I'm so tired of hearing about that. Yeah, like, oh, you don't trade him. You keep him as the foundational piece. No, you don't. He's terrible. And then I also want to tell you that Patrick Williams and DeAndre Hunter, they're the same player. They're the exact same human being, and they change jerseys and they fly from city to city.
Yep.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hunter is one of the guys who went, if you were to walk into a gym.
Yeah, I don't know why I went on Ngakwe.
Yeah. If DeAndre Hunter walked in the gym, you would go, that's somebody. And then you watch him play and you go, never mind.
Yep. Nope. He's Wendell Carter. Sorry. Yep. My mistake. My mistake. He is exactly Wendell Carter. But Patrick Williams, Okongwu and Wendell Carter are twins, and Patrick Williams and DeAndre Hunter are twins. They're both airport players. They look great getting off the airplane, and then they look the part, but they can't play it. Although DeAndre Hunter has been better, I will admit, but he had a lot of room to get better. Let's move on to Chicago Bulls, who are really in a confusing position. Look, Zach LaVine is on their team the day after the trade deadline. Yes or no?
No, and they actually dropped below the Hawks. So just so
okay. Yeah, these are the teams that we're jostling.
Yeah, right? They're not even in the play-in right now, which is where they would hope to be, I would imagine. No, he can't be on the team. There's no way. There's no way. Not after the trade. I don't know where he goes. The Lakers seem like they seem like a natural fit just because LeBron will go reaching for something like that. But
you mean LeBron will make someone go reach for that?
Does he make a difference there?
Well, if he's there, then D'Angelo Russell's not, which means are you asking LaVine to play the point guard like he was asked to do in Chicago, or are you asking him?
Reeves is the point. Reeves started.
Reeves is not even starting, Jonathan.
Yeah, he is. He just started. He started the last 2 games. He's back in the start lineup.
Back in, he was never in it last year. He's not a starter.
He started the last third of the year last year. He just didn't
Reeves
start.
Did?
Yeah, he just didn't start the beginning of this year because for some reason, Darvin Ham said, I'm going to do 2 brilliantly dumb things. I'm going to tell LeBron you're going to play 28 minutes, and I'm not going to start our third best player. So anyhow, moving.
And then LeBron plays 34 minutes a game.
Yes.
All right, so LaVine's gonzo. I agree. I don't think he's on the Bulls post-deadline no matter what. It's just a matter of what they can get for him.
Yep.
I don't think Vucevic is on their team, but they got to find somebody to take Vucevic. Which shouldn't be bad because he shoots threes. He's big. He's made all-star teams. He's not going to make your team worse. I don't know his contract situation super well, and I would not. Huh?
Caruso's the other one we got to look at because
Caruso is the number 1 trade chip that they have, and there's 30 interested or 29 other teams interested in him. Nobody on the planet will trade for $200 million. Zach, you watch. Yes, they will, John P. I promise you.
Yep.
I'm not saying the offers are rolling in, but there are teams out there that are going absolutely nowhere who will try to put – you got to remember, it's still a business. They're still going to try to put butts in the seats. I will bet you, John P., message me on Instagram, we'll bet a card, we'll bet a basketball card on this. He ain't going to be on the Bulls. I'm just telling you, and I agree. His contract is violently, it causes me to get ill, but he ain't going to be on the Bulls. They have trade deadline. There's no way.
Think about teams at the top of the conferences that could use him. Dude, he could go back to Minnesota.
Well, they got to fit him.
No, I know. I'm just talking about. Let's just talk about on-court fit, right? It's almost like they're. I mean, the $200 million that he just brought up is the key, but there are others who are saying who would want Zach LaVine. No, there are teams that would definitely use Zach LaVine for sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's $200 million either. I mean, I mean, John may have been just exaggerating, but maybe it is 200 million. But I don't think it is. I think he signed before all hell broke loose. I don't think it's 200 million. Not 200 million remaining, I should say. Bulls, Nets. The definition of mediocre in every single way. Cam Thomas is a guy. It's over 200 million. Glenn says it's over 200 million. Remaining, Glenn, he can't have over 200 million remaining. There's no way. That can't be right. I'll look it up while you talk. Tell me what you think about the Nets. What stands out about the Nets for you?
The fact that
Nets, Hawks, Bulls. Which one do you like the most?
Oh my God! I guess the Nets. I guess the Nets. I do love how Cam Thomas has parlayed a Durant, Harden, Kyrie learning experience into arguably the biggest green light in the league outside of Steph. It's incredible, man. Now, he's a lot better player than I thought he was going to be, honestly. But looking down their roster, two things stand out. Number one, how many guys that are the exact same player can you fit on one team?
That's exactly my question. How many of the exact same dudes can you put on one team? By the way, Cam Thomas is 22-2-2. Like, how much less can you do other than get shots up?
Right. And then what an absolute it's just a shame what Ben Simmons has become. Although he's averaging 11 rebounds and 7 assists a game right now. But, man, I'd love to go into his brain. I just want to know what's going into his brain as to why he won't try to score. Just go lay it in or dunk it 6 times a game. I don't understand. I want to know why. I will not have any more discussion about him, though. That's it. I'm done.
Just to clear up the Levine thing, Levine has $176 million left on his contract. So and that's including this year. So after this year, he's only got only have $135 million left. So, but basically what it is somebody's got to hang an albatross around their neck for 3 years with Zach LaVine as their second best player, making an average of $45 million a year. And I know 45 sounds like an insane number, and trust me, it's more than probably you should pay Zach LaVine. But Ben Simmons doesn't want to play basketball. No, did he ever?
That's a fact. Yes.
I mean, I know he came out gangbusters after he came back from his back injury early in his career and made all-star teams, made all NBA teams, by the way. And you and I were both in agreement that he had the potential and might have been at or near the top of the list of the best defenders in the entire NBA. And right now, I don't know. I'm done. I'm not even going to speak about it. He's almost to the point like he's Isaiah Thomas on this channel where I don't even want to talk about it.
I have had to eat so much crow with a good friend of ours. We sat in my living room and argued over who was going to be a better pro, Ben Simmons or Brandon Ingram. And I literally told him he was the dumbest person on earth.
Well, here's the deal. Another one of our assistant coaches from our Nike EYBL program, we got in the car, we drove down when Ben Simmons and D'Angelo Russell and those folks were at Montverde, and we went into the gym at the Hilario Center, and we watched them play Jared Butler's Riverside Academy team, who was a nationally ranked team and the best team in Louisiana, and I watched Ben Simmons make 6 threes. Yes. And I listen to me, I walked at the biggest player on the court, the fastest player on the court, and the player that shot the most and made the most threes. I walked out of that gym saying, that is going to be the best basketball player on planet Earth. It was one sample, right? One sample. But I was like, he checked every single box you could possibly imagine. It was astonishing what I saw on that given night. And then something happened. Some kind of wire got crossed, and maybe he just got paid, and that was the end of it, and he didn't care. But, yeah, John P., I'm with you, man. You put Zion and Ben Simmons kind of in the same boat?
No.
I mean, mentally, no. Zion's ahead because he's actually playing.
Yes, you know why? Because Zion wants to shoot a basketball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They both have mental hurdles, but the hurdles are very different. Can we stop with the Nets? I'm done. Cavs.
Good one.
I lost. I bet the Cavs to win 50 games this year. I got really good odds on that on FanDuel, and I thought just based on their kind of track of progression that I bet them to win 50, and I also thought Mobley was going to get better. Boy, was I wrong on Mobley, and boy, was I wrong on the health of the freaking Cavs. They added Strus. They already had the real Dean Wade. So I just thought the Cavs had a chance to push 50 wins, And I'm pretty sure they may not accumulate 50 wins over 2 seasons. They're 18-15. So I guess that's not as bad as it could be, considering that Mitchell's been doing damn near everything by himself. Garland, that dude can't get a break with the facial injuries, man. It's like he scratched cornea, finger in the tooth, he breaks his cheekbones. It's like, I got to get hit in the face more than any player I've ever seen in my entire life.
I need an explanation here. This is the only thing I need to know about the Cavs is, how does an NBA team have Tristan Thompson and Ricky Rubio on it still?
Rubio's gone. It was announced today. They bought him out. He's going to, if he ever plays pro basketball again, it will be in Spain. It won't be in the NBA.
Okay. All right.
But who did you say, Rubio and who?
Tristan Thompson.
Tristan Thompson.
Who I feel like has been with the Cavs 4 different times.
Tristan Thompson's in my most hated rotation, the Dylan Brooks most hated team. He's on the team. He's not in the starting 5.
Okay. All right. Why?
He doesn't play often enough. He's playing recently because of injury. If he played more often, he'd be on the team. Dyson Daniels plays every game. That's why he's the team captain on my most hated team.
No, but why is he on the team to begin with?
Oh, but he has no idea how bad he is.
Okay.
It's always the same.
100% agree. Yes.
Yeah. That's what drives me to not being able to watch certain people. By the way, Rip City, I disagree with you on this. He says Philly fucked up Simmons' confidence big time. No, I think
not true.
He fucked his own something's wrong with him. It's not being in Philly.
LSU.
Listen, Philly is a city of brotherly love. It's full of compassionate fans who care about their players on and off the court. They never get down on their team. They're always positive. Just a really empathetic group of fans. And I think Ben Simmons is the reason that Ben Simmons is fucked up.
Now, Ben Simmons stopped shooting a basketball in college.
Dude.
In college.
I watched it. It was weird.
He had a shoulder injury, which most people don't know about. And then when he had the shoulder injury, he stopped shooting a basketball altogether, and he never started shooting again.
He didn't. That's a fact, dude.
Because look, here's the deal, man. People, if they're not in that gym that you were in to watch at the Alario Center, they would have no reason to believe what you just said. None. Yeah. Right? But we watched it. We watched it on the USL. We watched it. We saw it. So
that's right. Yeah. Jonathan, their season's over, right? Because Garland's out, Mobley's out for an extended period of time. Are they? I mean, they make the play in. Are they? If they all come back, are they somebody that we need to talk about? I mean, if you had to bet on a team, the Cavs or the Heat, the Knicks or the Cavs.
What did you? What did you say about the Heat?
The Heat and the Cavs, the Knicks and the Cavs. I mean, if you had to pick one of those teams, they're only one game apart.
Don't do that to the Heat, first of all. Secondly,
well, I'm just telling you, the Heat and the Cavs are like one freaking game separated, and Mitchell's been playing by himself. He's been playing 3-on-5.
Dude, the Heat were an 8th seed last year. The Heat are not. They can't be a part of that discussion. You know that, okay?
Okay. Well, how about the Knicks?
The Knicks, who punked them.
Didn't they punk them last year? They did.
Yeah. They did. So, and I think the Knicks got another dog in Anunoby at least. Yeah. He's a dog. So
Simon is basically asking the question that I was getting at is if they can't do it, they can't do it as currently constructed.
Right.
Can they or can't they?
No.
Can they?
No.
Is it because of Mobley or is it because Donovan Mitchell's not a good enough alpha?
He can't be the one on a great team. He can't be the number
cannot.
one. Nope.
It can't be him because he's tiny.
Not consistent enough.
He's just not good enough.
Not good enough. He's not consistent enough. He puts up numbers, but you get into the playoffs and he'll go 2 games in a row, he'll get 35, and then the next game he'll get 12. Well, I just don't think, and I think part of it has to do with his size, but I don't know. I just don't think he's good enough. That's it. I mean, where would you fit Donovan Mitchell? Where does he fall in the league? Is he top? He's not top 15. Is he top 20?
Yes, he's top 20.
Okay, so.
Jonathan, he's averaging 28, 6, and 6.
No argument. There are a lot of guys doing that, though.
What do you want him to do?
There's a lot of those guys. There's a lot of guys doing that you would not put as the best player on a contender. You can't have your best player be the 17th best player in the league and you're a contender. You can't do it.
No, let's think about that. Let's go back through the most recent champions and figure out
one team. Ever.
Okay, Jokic was let's just work our way backwards, most recent to oldest. Jokic is the best player in the world.
Yep.
Before that, the Warriors won, right, with Curry.
Yep.
Before that, the Bucks, right, with Giannis.
Yep.
Before that,
the Lakers in the bubble.
The Lakers with LeBron and AD were both top 15, both top 10 probably at the time.
Yep.
Before that,
Toronto.
Kawhi was definitely a top 5. Certainly, yes.
Yeah.
Before that, you're good at this. I suck
Warriors.
at this.
You have the Warriors for the 2. You have the Cavs.
All the Warriors, we can throw those out. And then all the Heat, we can throw those out because they had 2 of the top 5 or 10.
The Cavs in 16, right? So you have the Warriors for 4. You have the Cavs in 16. You have the Heat. You have the
all
Spurs.
Those Spurs championships. They had a top 3 player in the league.
One guy, one team.
All the Lakers. That's the Pistons.
The 04 Pistons. That's it. Now, keep in mind, they probably had 3 of the top 20 to 25 players in the league.
They probably had 5 of the top 50.
4 maybe, if you
Let's
count.
go through that.
Billups, the Wallaces, Tayshaun Prince, and Rip. That was their starting 5.
You don't think all those guys are top 50?
Oh, yeah, top 50. But I'm saying
like 5 of the top 50.
3 of them might have been top 25 at that point.
Freaking nuts. Yeah. You don't see that anymore because those guys would want too much money now.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
John P. Rumors are Mitchell won't be there. I don't know, man. That's a lot. Mitchell's a lot to deal. Levine's a lot to deal. If you had to pick one, you'd rather Mitchell than Levine?
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Barnes, Mitchell, or Trey? John P. brings up Barnes, Mitchell, and Trey. He says Barnes is easily better than Mitchell and Trey. Well, he's younger than both of them a little bit.
Long term. Yeah, long term.
Long term, all things being the same contract-wise, you're taking Barnes over Trey and Mitchell just because he's a 6'9" point guard and the other guys are 6'2".
Because his ceiling is a lot higher. Yeah,
I'm with you. Yeah, Simon 04 Pistons, yep. Never thought of it like that.
How about the Knicks? Do you feel like the Knicks feel like, man, we really stole one by not taking Donovan Mitchell or not getting Donovan Mitchell and getting Brunson?
Oh, they dodged the bullet. They got Brunson at $25.5 million a year.
Yep. And by the way, I know you're not going to like this. Brunson's a better player.
I know you're not going to like this. He is a hobbit, and he can't win a title because it's never happened except for he who shall not be named twice.
I am simply saying he's a better player than Donovan Mitchell. He gives you a better chance of winning than Donovan Mitchell. And he proved it last year, by the way, in the playoffs. How about this? Neither team's winning a title with those guys, so move on. All right.
Let's move on. Knicks are next. I hate talking about this team. I hate this team.
Yeah,
I hate their brand of basketball. I know Brunson's effective and efficient, and people talk about him, but it's like, God, man, I don't know, man. The herky-jerky shit, I don't know. Why is it that SGA has a herky-jerky game, and I love it, and it oozes entertainment, but Brunson is like watching some freaking fat guy in the local LA Fitness, like head fake and step through. And oh God, he's going to play until he's 60. Huh?
It's because SGA is 6'6" and looks like a basketball player. That's why. Now I will say this. Julius Randle, although he's putting up numbers, has definitely joined my least like to watch players list.
Who?
Julius Randle. I do not like watching him play basketball.
He's a bully.
Yeah.
He's a bully. Yeah. All right, let me look at my notes on the Knicks just in case. OG is better than Quickly and Barrett, and he's a better fit. So I do think the Knicks got better.
Okay, I agree.
But I don't think they got better enough to be remotely relevant. Right. Can they win an A series they're not supposed to? I guess probably. Can they win 3 series that they're not supposed to? Probably not. And I think if they're the 7th seed, they're going to have to win 3 series where they're the underdog. That's Heat type stuff. That's Heat type accolades. And I don't see it happening. OG's the stopper they need next to Brunson to cover his little hobbit ass up. We shall see. Still not enough. That's my notes. All right, Indiana Pacers. Who do you like more right now? If you were the GM and your job was to win a title, who do you think wins a title first, Pacers or Knicks? Or do you think neither one ever win one?
Oh, they'll never win one, but Pacers would win one first. Yeah.
Halliburton is far and away better than Brunson.
Halliburton's that dude. Yeah.
Halliburton is that dude. Halliburton or SGA?
SGA. SGA is really that dude.
No hesitation?
None. Now, I'm not saying it won't change. I'm saying today, right now, none.
This is going to be a bitch of a first-team All-NBA vote this year because SGA, Halliburton, Doncic, Lillard's going to be banging on that door because they're going to win a bazillion games. Tatum is a forward, so he won't be in the mix.
Yeah.
Nobody in the West.
Lillard won't be in that.
Is LeBron a front court or a back court for All-Star voting?
For whatever, it's both, I think. And I think Luka is too. It's ridiculous.
Luka, that's right. They make it to where Luka could play forward or whatever. So.
Which is stupid because he's a point guard. He's the only point guard that they have.
Yeah. John P. nailed it. No, I do not like Julius Randle penetrating gaps that don't exist.
Yeah.
I do not.
By the way, in the playoffs, add 2 more pump fakes to that list.
Add 2 more pump fakes when someone his height guards him. That's right. Okay, Simon says positions don't matter at all. So 5 best this year. I heard they were talking about it, but I didn't know for sure if they were going to it. So this is the first year ever, right? I know they got rid of the centers. They went to backcourt, front court. Now it's 5 best players.
But
wow.
the All-Star is still front court, back court, I think. Though.
All-Star is front court, back court. And I know that J.J. Redick's been beating the drum to go to 15 players. He's like, why don't they go to 15 players? Why don't they go to 15 players? Well, JJ, good luck trying to get 15 players into a freaking game.
Yeah.
That's hard. There's only 48 minutes to go around. It's hard to play 12 already. Playing 15 is absurd. And by the way, it almost is 15 because there's usually 2 or 3 guys hurt in each conference every single year.
Yeah. The All-Star game is a travesty anyhow, so we can move on from that.
No, they're going to fix it, dude. I'm telling you, I think they're going to fix it. Silver knows how serious that is. When the people, the diehards like you and me, I turned that shit off. Like it was making me sad.
Yeah.
I was sad watching it. I literally was sad. That is the emotion.
I didn't watch a minute of it the last 2 years. Not one.
You didn't watch it at all. I turned it on with hope. And then, honest to God, man, after the first quarter, I was like, this is uncomfortable. I was feeling anxiety at how uncomfortable it was.
Yeah. For those of you young bucks out there watching this, you need to go back and watch an All-Star game in like the 90s. The 80s is too ridiculous. Like the 90s, when those guys were going at it, that was fun. It was fun. Here's
the deal. And then, first of all, in the 80s, they would kill you and then urinate on your mom's grave. And then in the 90s, they cared about who won, and it was East-West. And they're going back to East-West, by the way, so I think that helps. That's a step in the right direction. Stop all this draft bullshit. Nobody wants to draft bullshit. And then in the 90s, it was competitive start to finish, but nobody was going to get hurt. And then in the 2000s, only in the fourth quarter did they compete.
Right.
And then gradually now it's no one competes at all, ever. Under any circumstances, do they ever care whatsoever what the hell, who wins the game or anything like that. So as much as I hate to say throwing money at it solves the problem, I think it'll help.
Probably, yeah. But the dudes who are in the game are making so much money, it might not, is the issue.
Home court advantage in the NBA Finals is too important to put on the line, isn't it?
I love it, though.
I would be you want to fix it?
Yeah.
Fixed.
That's
fixed. And it's not that, again, let's say they have 12 players on each team. Realistically, 8 of the players think they have a chance to be in the NBA Finals, but don't you bet those sons of bitches are going to put pressure on the Trae Youngs and the Scotty Barnes to make sure they play their ass off in the All-Star game?
Or the coach that play them.
Instantly fixed. If you say, you know what, whichever conference wins it, home court advantage in the NBA Finals. Now, is that too big of a piece? Is it too important to throw as the chip for the All-Star game? I don't know.
Major League Baseball?
They did, and then they stopped it, I think, the very next year because people went ape shit. I don't know. I don't watch baseball.
Yeah, I don't either. I thought that – I don't know. Anyhow, I would love for it. There's got to be something you could put on the table other than money that matters enough to force these dudes to play. It has to. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I love the home court thing. I think that's great. The problem with that is the argument is, well, why do you play the whole regular season then?
That's the thing is you don't want to diminish the value of the regular season. They're already having issues with that, which is why they do the in-season tournament thing. So the coach would not play the Jokic's and the Tatums as much. No, I guess, are you referring to if they did move it to a 15-man roster? That is correct. If they moved it to a 15-man roster, you would definitely have to back down the minutes for damn near everybody because getting 15 –
because the coach – is the coach of one of the best teams in the league. That has
we're saying if you don't add the bargaining chip of NBA Finals, home court, and all that. He's talking about if we just change from 12 to 15. I think.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, I think everybody can agree. Everybody's trying to win if you make NBA Finals home court advantage the deal.
Yeah.
Pacers first in NBA history in points per game, and they're 29th in points per game allowed. You can't win a title if you're 29th in the league in points per game allowed, but damn, they're fun to watch. and Halliburton is putting up crazy assist numbers with a bunch of guys around him. I mean, Hield's a good shooter, but I haven't looked, but I don't feel like he's on a heater exactly like he used to be. Halliburton, Maxey, or SGA in order? You're a SGA, Halliburton, Maxey.
Yes, and I like Maxey. I really
Halliburton,
like him.
Halliburton, Maxey is close.
Not particularly because of what Halliburton does, getting others involved.
Yeah.
The other question is, though, if you put Maxey in the situation that Halliburton's in, what does it look like, right? So, but if you put Halliburton with Embiid, what does that look like? I mean, good God, that could be a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Miami Heat, I've got on here. I don't watch them out of spite and boredom. What do you have for the Heat?
I don't watch them either, but you know what? They're going to be a problem in the playoffs if healthy. They'll be a problem.
Who is the person on the Miami Heat that you enjoy watching playing?
I like watching Jimmy Butler in the playoffs because I feel like he competes his ass off. Other than that, I enjoy watching no one play. Have
you watched a Miami Heat quarter since last year's playoffs?
Yeah, I watched one the other night when they played the Lakers, and I watched one of the most embarrassing possessions I've ever seen in my life. They isolated Bam on the wing against AD.
Oh, great.
And the possession before, AD had not really gotten in a stance and tried to guard. Bam goes to the middle, pulls up, makes a jumper. Okay. The next possession, Bam changed directions probably 4 different times. Okay. And then I believe he shot faked at the end, got the ball tipped away, ran and grabbed it again, shot faked again, then got a shot blocked. It was the most embarrassing 15 seconds that one person's ever had the ball. AD was like, I'm not even going to let you breathe. And so if that's your second best player, it's amazing that they made the finals.
I do like Jaime Jaquez. The R Bruin 10 brings up Jaime Jaquez. Jaime Jaquez putting up good fantasy numbers, across the board numbers, good teammate numbers, high basketball IQ. He's got a little shit to him. You are right. I should not have left him out. It's the first time the Heat have had a relevant prospect since Tyler Hero. And then, of course, before that, Adebayo was, pretty good from the jump.
My question is, does Hero make him worse or better?
I can't understand how a guy that's that good and scores the ball that well can make a team worse. And I hear the questions like that. You heard it last year with the Morant and the Grizzlies, and the year before that. It's like you hear it with Levine and the Bulls. Now they've gone on this run and Kobe White's been unleashed. It's like I just have a hard time believing that less talent makes your team better. I know there are situations where that person's a cancer. Like I think, there are situations where you take a Julius Randle off your team and your team may change so much that, yes, they get better. But like a Tyler Hero, I don't see Tyler Hero as a ball-stopping pain in the ass guy who takes shots that he shouldn't take.
I do. I see him
really
in that setting. Not to the degree that some guys are, but I think in that setting, what everything's based on, basically there's one guy allowed to do that. And the fact that I think Hero is one of those guys who he's a really good player, man, but he thinks he's a lot better than he is. That's for sure. Okay. I think he believes he's an all-star and he is not.
No, he's not an all-star.
And so look, the reality is part of what makes a guy like that as good as he is the fact that he thinks he's better than he is, So
a lot of people in the NBA think they're better than they are.
Yep. No doubt.
It has a lot to do with how they got the NBA.
Yep.
Orlando Magic, 19-13.
19
we'll talk about
19-15 now.
19-15, yeah, it sounds better. Lost 3 in a row then.
So here's where you are, just so the viewers know. The Knicks are in 8th, Cleveland 7th, Orlando 6th, all 19-15 right now.
Okay.
Indiana,
Orlando Magic, 19-15. Did they finish the season 500?
Yeah, I do. I think they do. If they're healthy, I think they do because those dudes play really hard, man. They care a lot. They're young.
Fultz comes back. Do you slot him into the starting lineup with Jalen Suggs, two terrible shooters?
No, can't.
Do you take Jalen Suggs, put him back on the bench, and start Fultz?
I don't know. I guess it just depends on who's outproducing the other one. But what do you do with Cole Anthony? That's what I want to know.
Well, Cole Anthony comes off the bench like Kobe White did for the last 12 years.
Talking about the trade deadline. Can't they move him? Don't you think he's a movable piece?
I don't know.
No, not yet.
People are one extreme or the other with him, with Cole Anthony. He's a little bitty dude.
He is. I'll tell you this: they do have 2 corner pieces, that's for sure, and I believe Wagner is that. I didn't know if he was going to be that, but I think he is that now. And so, and then
does Wagner ever make an All-Star team?
Yes.
And Banchero makes an All-Star team.
Yes.
Does Banchero make it this season?
I don't know. That's a good question. I need to look at his numbers.
Banchero or Scotty Barnes? I know Scotty Barnes' numbers are better, but Banchero's team is significantly better, so that's going to be a huge advantage. Banchero's 22-7-4 on 4. Damn, he shoots 38% from 3.
Yeah.
47, 38, and 70 with a 16 PER. Not good. That's going to be a tough one. Banchero versus Barnes for an all-star spot. Team success being highly in favor of Banchero.
Take them both. Barnes is a backcourt guy.
What?
Barnes is a backcourt guy, so you can take them both.
Barnes is not a backcourt guy.
He's a point guard.
It doesn't matter. He's not a point guard. He's not going to be a point guard for all. He's going to be front court for All-Star game, 100%.
You don't think you could vote for both? Like one of those LeBron Luka deals? You don't think it's?
I don't know. They need to get that shit straight. We need to do some research on that before we do our episode on that and figure out what exactly is the deal. Who can and can't I vote for, and how many spots and all this shit. I need to look at it. I would have assumed that Scotty Barnes was unquestionably a front court player, but maybe you're right. I don't know. It's something to look at. Orlando Magic. So I don't think they're going to finish 500 by the end of the season. I think they've kind of benefited from a relatively weak schedule. I have that they're a sinking ship, and there's no way they finish in the top 6 because the Heat, the Knicks, and the Cavs are coming. And I think all 3 of those teams, while I don't think any of those 3 teams can push the big 3, I do think the Knicks, the Heat, and the Cavs are all much better and further along, the progression than the Magic. That's just me. If you ask me which of those teams I want to watch play basketball, I want to watch the Magic games. Right. I want to watch the Magic game.
Right. I think that the only team that they might get past is Cleveland because that thing could unravel pretty quickly if Donovan Mitchell realizes that they're not going to have a chance. But other than that, no, you're right. You're 100%
right. Are the Magic and Cleveland right now both 19 and 15?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Knicks are?
The Knicks are, I'm going back because I was looking. Scotty Barnes, you're correct, is not allowed to be voted for in the backcourt. Okay. So that matters. Okay, so here's what you have right now. You have Indiana 19 and 14, Orlando, Cleveland, New York 19 and 15.
In the Heat,
Miami's 20 and 14, so they're 4th.
So out of all those teams, 6 get automatic, right? 6 are in automatically. So you get to pick 3 of those 5 to get in. See,
I think Indiana and Orlando drop. I think New York and Cleveland, if Cleveland's healthy, probably go up.
New York, Cleveland, and Heat finish 4, 5, 6 in some order.
That's my guess. Yeah,
yeah. They've got. I feel like they've been there, done that theory right there. I think that's going to kick in. The Heat, Cavs, and the Knicks. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. Let's talk about the Sixers. They're in 3rd. Does that surprise you? In 3rd, did you think that they would be better without Harden than with Harden?
Yes.
22 and 10. What are they now? This was 2 days old.
23 and 10. 23 and 10.
23 and 10. Is there any way they can finish top 2?
Sure. They're a game behind Milwaukee right now.
They're cheating. It's more is it more Maxey?
Half game, actually. Sorry.
In his step forward, or is it Embiid actually taking his MVP numbers and then urinating on top of them and exceeding them?
It is both. And I do think both of them, each of them have allowed the other to happen, right? By Maxey,
I tell you what,
he is.
Embiid likes Maxey, and Maxey likes Embiid, and that matters a lot.
Yeah, well, Maxey better like Embiid. That's the way I look at it. Okay, but the way you look, Maxey's that guy, man, and I believe he'll be that guy in the playoffs because when you play that hard, you can overcome a lot, even if you're struggling. It's not going to be a moment's too big for him. And then I think Embiid feels like now, I literally have the ball all the time whenever I want it, in the spots that I want. Nobody's going to question it. Harden's not going to sit out there and dribble 10 seconds off the clock before he gets it to me. He's it. So I think it matters. I do.
Right now, only once in the history of the league has a player averaged more points than minutes. And ironically, it was a season when Wilt Chamberlain averaged 48.5 minutes per game. So it's happened once in history. And right now, Embiid is more points than minutes, and they're 23-10. That's 33 games in. Can he finish the season averaging more points than minutes?
No.
I don't think so either.
No. I have a really hard time. I mean, obviously I believe it, but I really struggle that's the only time that's ever happened. Wouldn't you have thought some dude somewhere would have averaged like 6 points over 5 minutes? No?
Oh, no. You also have to score a certain number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not just like fucking Sam Hauser. I mean, you got to.
That has to have happened before.
Yeah, that's got to happen. Shit, Jordan Clarkson's got to have done that. You're one of those guys that shoots that bitch every time they touch it. Yeah. Shit, Tyler Hero might have done it.
So maybe it's a guy averaging 30? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I think there was a threshold, though. But if you go back and you think about it, guys in the 80s and 90s were playing 37, 38, 39 minutes a game. And the only person I ever remember averaging more than 35 was Jordan in the 80s and 90s. Do you remember anybody ever in the 80s or 90s averaging more than 35?
They didn't.
Nobody did, right? Jordan, that 1 year where he averaged 37. And then, of course, then it was not until I know Kobe had a huge year, but I don't know if he was 35. And then Harden had the crazy year, right, where it was like 37.
Yeah, Jordan had a year of 37.1. He had a year of 35 even, and then 33, 32, whatever. But Kobe had a 35. Harden had a 36.3, something like that. So yeah, but that's it. But yeah, those guys were playing big minutes. So
yeah. Who do you think the Sixers need? Gigi wants to know what piece do you think the Sixers need? You got to move somebody out, right? Let's go to their starting lineup. Let's talk about that a little bit. Huh?
Lauri Markkanen.
Well, that's not fair for a Bucks fan. DeAnthony Melton, Nicholas Batum, and Tobias Harris are in their starting lineup.
By the way.
So Derek White's much better than those three players, and he's the sixth player for the Celtics. So that's why we don't think that the Sixers can do what they need to do. But who would you move out of there? I mean, which one goes? Obviously, Batum. I think Batum just turned 57 years old.
Yeah.
So I would think Batum would be the guy that would kind of get cast to the bench.
15 years in the league. Batum.
Yeah.
How about this? Tell Marcus Morris Sr., tell Batum, tell Robert Covington, and tell Patrick Beverly, look, your services are no longer required. We're not even going to fill out the roster spots for you. Go away. Okay. You just need a third fiddle, man. You need a third guy.
Tobias Harris is not that.
No, the guy, here's the key. The third guy has to be somebody who is close to the number 2, but is willing to be the number 3.
Bradley Beal.
Lauri Markkanen.
Well, he's not close to Durant or Booker, but you get the point.
Lauri Markkanen. Yep. It's like your boy Siakam doesn't help them, right? He'd be okay. Is he better than Tobias Harris? He doesn't make threes. I don't know, but he's a better player than Tobias Harris is. But my point is he a better fit? I don't know.
Yeah,
Lauri Markkanen.
Simon, I agree. Batum isn't going anywhere, but I also agree that neither are the Sixers if Batum is their starting small forward. That's kind of what we're getting at. I cannot envision that happening. It'd be one thing if they had just 4 uber elite starters and then Batum was just their glue ball mover dude, but that's just not. I just don't know, man.
And Kelly Oubre is who he is. We know that. So
yeah, I like Kelly Oubre is the bucket getter off the bench. I have no problem with that. I mean, every team needs a guy like that. I have no problem with that whatsoever. All right, where are we at? Sorry. Okay, it's down to the big 2. Yep. We got the Bucks. I've got on here Middleton is back with an exclamation point and an FU after it. And he's trending upward. And he's 52, 42, 91 over the past 30 days. So you can suck on that, right? And we've already talked about his 21 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists on a per 36-minute basis.
I love the per 36. I love that. That's great. What is he really doing?
Because that's what we're praying. We're praying he could at one point play 36 minutes in a game.
And we also we do recognize the fact that he is a cone on defense, right? Okay.
Yeah. A pylon, I think it would be the more appropriate term.
Look, here's my problem with it. And I really like the dude. I like his game. I like how he plays. I like how he approaches things. It just sucks because if you can't guard it all anymore, at all, that means your athleticism has declined. I just look at it and go, it's going to be really hard for you to create a shot in the playoffs against Boston. Against Boston. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So I think it's a problem. And I think if he's your third guy, it's an issue. Look, if he comes back to 85% of what he was, different story.
Yeah.
Different story. I hope he does.
Well, he's 85% of what he was right now because he's 21, 6, and 7 per 36 on 52, 42, 91.
Physically, I'm talking about.
He's getting there, dude. He was never like a freaking track star. It's not Carl Lewis. This is not Russell Westbrook. He was kind of a big, plodding guard who is like a power guard. He was a power wing, dude.
Klay Thompson play, man. Klay Thompson still shoots the piss out of it. He can still get numbers.
Right.
Not the same dude.
Who would you rather have if you were the Bucks, Middleton or Klay Thompson?
Klay Thompson.
You're an idiot.
Just because of what he does. It's a perfect fit.
You'd rather have Klay Thompson right now than Chris Middleton?
And tell him to just catch and shoot? Yeah. They're both terrible defenders. Who cares?
Dude, did you not hear what I just said?
Over the last 30 days, I heard all of it. You asked me who I'd rather have in the playoffs against Boston, knowing that neither one of them is going to be able to guard their other guy, so it doesn't matter. I think it's a perfect fit. With Lillard and Giannis, Klay Thompson is not a perfect fit. He's a better fit at this point, in my opinion, than Middleton.
It's been 9 years since Klay Thompson shot a ball inside the three-point line. That's how old that dude is. That's how brittle he's become. Chris Middleton still puts people in the blender with his gigantic ass. He puts them down on the post, and he bullies the shit out of people. I watch him do it to the tune of 21, 6, and 7 over 36 minutes. You go find me the last time that Klay Thompson averaged 6 rebounds and 7 assists in a game. I bet he hasn't had 6 rebounds and 7 assists in a game in 5 years. And Middleton's averaging that over 30 minutes, over the last 30 games.
Here's the great part about that. They don't need somebody to average 7 assists.
Well, it matters.
No.
It does.
No. He just happens to be the guy passing the ball to
All right,
two
fine.
of the players in the world.
Enough. No, I don't know. We'll let the people who are watching this comment below, Middleton or Klay Thompson, right now for this stretch run. Which of those players do you want? Simon brings up a good point. Adrian Griffin, every time I see this man's face, it looks like he's confused about where he is. He's like the young black Joe Biden of NBA coaches. He does not know what his purpose is, what he's doing, what he's supposed to do. He scares the shit out of me, Jonathan. I feel like Lillard and Giannis should run a pick and roll every single possession.
I feel like there are going to be multiple possessions until Lillard loses his mind in the playoffs where Adrian Griffin in a timeout goes, hey, what do y'all think we should run?
I know you don't think that's happened this season. Hey, Mr. Antetokounmpo, what do you think you should do? What do you think you should do right now? Yeah, I don't know. Look, Simon, I'm with you, brother. I don't think Adrian Griffin knows what he's doing. I will say this: I was very excited when they let Coach Bud go because Coach Bud, I think, cost them a title. I think Giannis should have 2 rings, but because he's very stubborn and just refuses to run double teams at people and lets Jimmy Butler have a career series and let Drew Holiday get cooked. I'm surprised Drew Holiday doesn't still have burn marks all over his body where Jimmy Butler cooked his ass. And why not just run a double team at him? I have no idea. All right, the Bucks and the Celtics are number 1. The Celtics are 6th in points per game, 4th in points per game allowed, and 1st in rebounding. That to me sounds like a championship team, Jonathan. Those are 3 rankings that sound like a championship team. The formula recently for championship teams has been top 5 offense and then not a terrible defense. If you can get in the top 10, that's great. Yep. But don't be a terrible defense. Well, the Celtics, I think, have the most talented starting 5 offensively, and I think the most talented, most capable starting 5 defensively.
Agreed.
Derek White, 6th man of the year type player.
But he starts.
Does he?
Yeah. Horford's their 6th man. I mean, he'll be the guy that qualifies for it.
That's right. That's what they talked about over and over and over, huh?
It makes sense. It's what should happen. You have the 2 best on-ball defenders in the world as your guards, and then
I don't know. I'm just getting tired of people saying that about Holiday after what I saw.
Well, dude, in the playoffs, it doesn't matter who's guarding the great ones. It's irrelevant.
Well, it did in that series.
No, my point is you're going to have to run a double team at those guys. Period. I don't care who's guarding them.
All right.
That's the deal. But he's still a phenomenal on-ball defender. Who would you rather have guarding a like-sized guard? Now the problem is also he's not big enough to guard Jimmy Butler. That's a problem.
Yeah.
But they're going to put him on Giannis, which will be funny when they get in the
John
playoffs.
P. Hey, Coach, Holiday's getting cooked by Jimmy. Should we switch the matchup? No, let's call their bluff.
Let's see what they do. Yeah.
Yeah. GG, their defense is not bottom 10. It's not that bad. Let's let it play out. The answer is definitely not Lillard and Beasley in the backcourt. I will agree with you on that. Again, if we're comparing defenses between the Bucks, the Sixers, and the Celtics, you're right. There is absolutely no comparison whatsoever. But all three of those teams are good offensive teams. The Bucks just need to go from one of the 5 best defenses in the league, which they were historically the past few years with Holiday out there. They need to go to 10th in defense, and then they just need to run the shit out of the Giannis and the Lillard pick and roll. And to be honest with you, from what I've read and heard, they haven't run it to the extent that we thought that they were. I think Adrian Griffin's kind of trying to coach, which is sort of the problem, instead of just putting the ball in the hands of 2 of the 10 best players in the league.
Okay, question for you, and this for the viewers also. You get into a series with Milwaukee and Boston.
Okay.
Offensively, who are the 2 best players in the series?
Milwaukee and Boston. The
Offensively,
2 best offensive players in the series. It's really tough. I would say Giannis and Tatum, but only a hair ahead of Lillard.
I won't. I would say Giannis.
You still say Lillard over Tatum?
I do.
I say Tatum over Lillard.
Here's why. I still think Tatum, until he proves otherwise, is a poor decision maker from a shot selection standpoint late in games, and I don't think he gets off mid-range shots or threes easily enough. If he decides to put his head down and go to the rim, he's okay. Yes, it's done. It's a wrap. But he just doesn't do it often enough, man.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Trust those other guys, even though Giannis can't make free throws. I trust those other guys more than I trust Tatum in that situation. That's all I'm getting at.
Simon brings up a great point, and I think that's why I have picked the Celtics, because the Nuggets have guys that you can leave, and the Bucks have guys that you can leave. Well, they have guys that can't guard anybody. But the Celtics, despite being stout as hell defensively, really Drew Holiday's the one. I mean, Drew Holiday's part of the reason the Bucks didn't win a title last year. I'll give him all the credit in the world for the one they won, but he's part of the reason they didn't win it last year, because he's just freaking unpredictable and wild and loose with the ball. And, he's the guy. I mean, he's the weakest link offensively, unquestionably. So I don't know. What would you do as a coach? I mean, you've coached for 30 freaking plus years, Jonathan. What would you try to do against the Celtics? They got 5 guys that can all – I mean, Holiday's not a terrible three-point shooter. I mean, they're just going to space the floor and then exploit the weakest matchup.
So I have the Bucks. That's who I'm coaching?
Sure.
Okay. So if I have the Bucks, I let Lopez guard Porzingis in the post. If he's in the post, we just single cover, right? I think you stunt off a Holiday a good bit. You don't just leave him open, but you stunt off of him a little bit just because he'll take a bad shot, like you just said. Okay. And then I think you, as often as you can get away with it, you single cover Jaylen Brown simply because he's going to take bad mid-range shots. Okay.
Yes.
I think at the end of games, you do everything you can to get the ball out of Jason Tatum's hands, even though I just told you I don't trust him at the end of games. He's still obviously the most capable guy in that situation. Yeah. I think if you take the ball out of his hands at the end of the game, you put these guys in a scramble, and now these guys have to go make plays that none of them has ever been the guy to go do in that moment, right? It's not as simple as, let me just leave Drew Holiday open. He's going to make enough open threes. You can't just do that. But you can make him think, I'm kind of open, and he'll shoot it. So that would be my thought.
I think the answer is the Bucks are screwed, dude. I think all the teams in the East are screwed. That team right there, dude, is 1 through 6, and I'm gonna throw Horford in there because Horford's a really good player still. That team's a problem.
I think they destroy Philadelphia in a series if they play them.
Destroy them.
Destroy them. I agree.
Right. Unless Philly gets another guy. But as a constructed right now, it's 4-0-4-1, I believe.
I think they're going to run through the Bucks.
Maybe. I think Lillard makes a big difference, man. But again, they've got enough dudes to bother him, so that's a problem.
They got 2 that really matter, and
Yeah.
3. I mean, really, I mean, Tatum or Jaylen Brown gets switched up on Lillard. It ain't that big a deal.
Yep.
They got 4 guys. 4 guys they could switch on to Lillard.
And look, I know this is going to sound crazy, but for a 4 or 5 minute stretch, after running those guys at him, you could throw Peyton Pritchard at him and go, just bug the shit out of him. Don't let him catch the ball. Just don't let him catch it as often as you can, right?
Yeah.
So they have guys. It's just a problem. I mean, it's just a problem. So I'm with you. I know who it doesn't bother, though. That dude over in Denver.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Boston, Denver, it just looks like they're on a collision course. And I know we probably said this about 2 teams that didn't make the finals last year at some point in the midseason. So we're probably way too premature doing this. But who's the biggest surprise good in the East?
Philadelphia. Philadelphia, for sure. I mean, Maxi's even better than I thought he was going to be. And Embiid somehow has played even better than he did.
They're kind of the only good surprise in the East. The Magic are 19-15. I guess that's a surprise. I mean, if you'd have told me 17-17, I'd have been like, yeah, they're good. They're better. Going to get better. They're going to take a step forward. But 19-15 with a 3-game losing streak, which means they were 19-12. So I probably would have said the Magic about 72 hours ago or 5 days ago.
Indiana,
but you're right. It's probably the Sixers. Who's the biggest surprise bad in the East?
Ooh, Detroit. Like, I didn't think they were going to be good.
Because you thought they'd be 10-23?
Yeah. Seriously. I didn't think there was any possible way a team that has eyes on it are going to lose 28 in a row after paying their coach $76 million or whatever they paid him. I don't know.
33 games in. Well, they were 3-30, 33 games in. Now they're what, 4-31?
Yeah. Cleveland actually probably would be my answer, but they've been hurt.
Yeah.
So.
Cleveland's going to be the team that, well, the problem is they're going to end up playing the Bucks. I do not want the Bucks to face Cleveland in round 1. Give me the Knicks. Give me the freaking Heat. Give me the Knicks. Even I know the Heat have got the Bucks number, but give me the Knicks. Give me the Heat. Give me the Pacers. Give me anybody other than Cleveland, because I think Cleveland is the most talented of those teams, man. I worry about a healthy Cleveland. I worry about a healthy Cleveland, man.
Oh man, stop that. That's ridiculous. Here's
Dean
the deal.
Wade and Max Strus.
No, you don't want to.
Wade and Max Strus.
You don't want to play teams that are going to grab and hold and beat the hell out of you. And the Knicks and the Heat do exactly that. You just don't want to do it. Oh, and by the way, you don't want to see the Heat. You don't.
No, I know. Well, I just don't have to watch the Heat series. So I hope they don't play the Bucks, because I got to watch that. And so I hope I don't have to watch it. All right. That's it, man. That's another episode. Guys, we're going to do this again. We're just going to keep banging our head on the wall until we get 100 views. I was telling Jonathan last night, I just randomly, spur of the moment, hit record and started talking about a Michael Jordan card that I cracked and sent for grading, and it came back, and I got 1,500 views in 24 hours. And then I was like, we have 70 views in 12 hours on our shit. People love basketball cards and they hate the NBA. I'm convinced. They hate you or they hate the NBA. It's one or the other. We don't care about basketball. We just care about basketball.
There's only one way to find out. Only one way to find out. Put somebody else in my slot and have them talk about this stuff. And then let's see.
Or you and me could talk about basketball cards, but I don't know how you're going to do with that. That would be another way to test the theory. Yeah, it probably wouldn't work too well. All right, guys, that's it. End of the rope. Stay tuned. We'll do some more live streams, and I'll do a better job of announcing it like 1 or 2 or 3 days before, and we'll do it at a time where people should be at work right now and not doing this. And so we're only getting the real diehards. Simon, GG, John P. Thank you guys for joining us, and everybody else that commented. Appreciate you guys watching. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't, although I know all you guys have. Hit the like button, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, guys. Keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby, and peace.